Manchester City's Premier League fixtures for season 2024-25. Chelsea vs Manchester City on August 17th. Manchester City vs Ipswich Town on August 24th. West Ham United vs Manchester City on August 31st. Manchester City vs Brentford on September 14th. Manchester City vs Arsenal on September 22nd. Newcastle United vs Manchester City on September 28th. Manchester City vs Fulham on October 5th. Wolverhampton Wanderers vs Manchester City on October 19th. Manchester City vs Southampton on October 26th. AFC Bournemouth vs Manchester City on November 2nd. Brighton and Hove Albion vs Manchester City on November 9th. Manchester City vs Tottenham Hotspur on November 23rd. Liverpool vs Manchester City on November 30th. Manchester City vs Nottingham Forest on December 4th. Crystal Palace vs Manchester City on December 7th. Manchester City vs Manchester United on December 14th. Aston Villa vs Manchester City on December 21st. Manchester City vs Everton on December 26th. Leicester City vs Manchester City on December 29th. Manchester City vs West Ham United on January 4th. Brentford vs Manchester City on January 14th. Ipswich Town vs Manchester City on January 18th. Manchester City vs Chelsea on January 25th. Arsenal vs Manchester City on February 1st. Manchester City vs Newcastle United on February 15th. Manchester City vs Liverpool on February 22nd. Tottenham Hotspur vs Manchester City on February 25th. Nottingham Forest vs Manchester City on March 8th. Manchester City vs Brighton and Hove Albion on March 15th. Manchester City vs Leicester City on April 2nd. Manchester United vs Manchester City on April 5th. Manchester City vs Crystal Palace on April 12th. Everton vs Manchester City on April 19th. Manchester City vs Aston Villa on April 26th. Manchester City vs Wolverhampton Wanderers on May 3rd. Southampton vs Manchester City on May 10th. Manchester City vs AFC Bournemouth on May 18th. Fulham vs Manchester City on May 25th.